allow me to ask one question. Whom of you in this room wants to be a leader? Good. So, anyone in this room is a leader. Do you think you are a leader? Please raise your hand. Do you think you are a good leader? Please raise your hand. Okay, that's really leave a huge hole in this room, and I believe that is the elephant in this room that we really need to ask. So this is the topic that I want to bring. We need to be a transformational leaders. Why? Because we are having a global leadership crisis. This is a study that was conducted in 2012 by the tellyourboss.com, and the survey showed that 65% of the employees in the United States prefer to fire their bosses instead of having a raise. So can you imagine that? That really shows that their bosses are really sucks. Their bosses are really terrible. I imagine that their bosses are like this. The only thing they know how to control their subordinates is just threatening them. You're fired. Just like this person in the magazine, which unfortunately has become the President of the United States of America. So ladies and gentlemen, the other reason why we need to be a transformational leaders, I beg your pardon, is this: the industrial revolutions. We are currently experiencing the fourth industrial revolutions. The first happened in 1784 when James Watt invented the steam engine. The second happened in 1870s. The third, this happened when we invented the technology to mass produce all of our goods and services. The third happened in 1969 when Bill Gates makes the productions of microconductors becoming more efficient, smaller, and we can massively produce it. So that now all electronics now are affordable. The fourth happens today. With the new development of the internet, we are witnessing that everything will be part of the internet era. Have you ever heard about the Internet of Things? That is happening now. And more digitalizations and mechanizations of technology will replace our jobs. Can you imagine 2,000 years ago when the Egyptians built the pyramid, they relied on labor. Probably they use horses, which is already a huge breakthrough at that time. They rely on labor, thousands of slaves probably, to build the mighty pyramid. But now if you want to recreate the pyramid, we only need excavators, bulldozers, cranes, and it can be built within days, right? So those jobs are obsolete. Just look at 20 years ago when the banks introduced the ATM. Suddenly, the tellers are no longer needed because we can just withdraw our money from the ATM. But did the banks close their branches? Did the banks have less employees? No, they're not. They even have more branches. They have more employees. They become richer. And we are becoming more prosperous because of the digitalizations and mechanizations. But unfortunately, we are living in a VUCA world. What is VUCA? VUCA is a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. We are living in the world like this. In the future, we are not sure whether our jobs will be replaced by robots or not. I'm not sure whether my daughter and son will survive in a world where everything is relied heavily on internet. Can you imagine a future that our future generations are going to face? It's really uncertain. We are facing an uncertain, but yet the show must go on. We need to pass through our heritage to our future generations. And that is why we need a transformational leadership. This is what happened when China took over the jobs in the United States in the early 2000s. This is the manufacturing jobs in the United States, and it was taken over by the Chinese because of their cheap labor. In the future, these same cycles will also apply when the robots take over. All manufacturing jobs will be taken over by robots. So be prepared. So how do we survive in this competitive working environment? The good news is there are some things that which is repetitive or can be replaced by robots. But the other good news or bad news, some skills robots cannot imitate from us. For now. Some things like predict how to monitor, communicate, analyze, explore are still human-centric. So if you really want to survive in this future, make yourself stronger in this area. So if you see this kind of a problem, how do you see? Do you see bleak future? I see opportunity. This is the motto that I believe, that the product you are selling is actually the problems you are solving. Those people who invented robots and technology to make our lives easier are the people who see opportunities in the problems that we see in our society. They create opportunities from problems. So whenever you see problems, I would encourage you. Transformational leaders are people who see problems as opportunities. And this is some of the top skills that will be more relevant in the future. And it is always relevant from the past as well. The top one is complex problem solving. So if you think your problem in the office are too complex, well, get used to it. Because it's going to be more complex in the future. So how do we transform ourselves to become a transformational leaders? It all starts from ourselves. Leadership starts from ourselves. We need to practice it. It cannot be taught. We need to practice. And that is why I'll come to Toastmasters.
Aww.
This is some examples of great leaders. And leaders doesn't have to have authority to become a leader. Look at these two persons. I still have another last person, which is my photo actually. No, I'm joking. It was Mahatma Gandhi. And these three persons, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and
Martin
Luther King Jr., doesn't have authority. But yet they become an inspirational leaders who transform the society. I challenge all of you to follow them and become a transformational leaders. And this is another mindset that you also have to adopt, the growth mindset, instead of a fixed mindset, from Carol Dweck.
Yay.
This is the difference from a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you will say, I can learn anything I want to. But if you have a fixed mindset, you will say, I'm either good at it or I'm not. Growth mindset, when I'm frustrated, I persevere. Fixed mindset, when I'm frustrated, I give up. The other thing, when I fail, I learn. It's a growth mindset. When I fail, I'm no good. If you succeed, I am inspired. If you succeed, I feel threatened. So can you see the difference between this?
Yes.
So examine yourself whether you are in this fixed mindset or whether you are in a growth mindset. If you have more agreement with the statement in the left side, congratulations, your journey just began. But you need to practice it so you can become the true transformational leaders. To conclude my speech, allow me to use one of my favorite sentence from our national hero, one of the best leaders that I have ever known. And just keep this. And unfortunately, it's not in English. Ing arso sung tulodo, ing madya mangun karso, tuturi handayani. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be your leaders, start from yourself. And when you are in the front, be the good example so others can follow. When you are in the middle, work hard and create great legacy. When you are in the back, provide the support for your team so that your team can succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a leader and I am a. You can also be a leader like me. Thank you very much.